Hello, and welcome to the last part of our journey through 1 Thessalonians. Hopefully, you read through the chapter again and had a go at answering those homework questions. There is so much we could take from this one chapter alone, that we won't be able to focus on all of it and only be able to look at a few elements. So I would encourage you to keep on going back and reading again and again, asking the Holy Spirit to reveal more and more to you as you go through this chapter. The main theme that I take from it, from reading this, is that Paul is telling us to be ready for whatever might happen to us by living in the day, by living for each day, on that day. That doesn't mean that when it gets dark we have to go home and go to bed. No, we live in the light of the day. It's a metaphor, a picture for how we are to live, not in darkness, but in the light of Christ. When we live in this light, we are able to see things, and the light will even show up what is hidden in the darkness. An interesting fact about darkness is that it is actually measured in light. There is no such thing as total darkness. Scientists don't measure it by how dark something is. They measure it by how light something is. Things can get very dark, but there is still light. Where light is, there can be no darkness. And we know that the light has won, because Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus is the light of life. When we are living in the light, we are living in Him. We are living in His light. So we need to live like we are living in this light. That means we need to live in a way that is the most Christ-like that we are able. That means that we live our lives full of the Spirit, full of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, loving others as we love ourselves. And as we live like this, we need to encourage others to do the same. That means we need to speak to those who don't yet know how to live like this. That means we need to evangelize. And we need to speak to those in our churches and communities to help them. Jesus tells us that by our actions, people will know that we are His disciples. So that means we need to live like it, and in doing so, encouraging others to live like it. One of the things that Paul urges us to do in this letter is to rejoice always. I can tell you that I don't always feel happy. I don't always feel joyful. But happy and joyful are two different things. We can be joyful without being happy. Happiness is a feeling, like love or hate or sadness or worry, nervousness. And these things, these feelings come and go. Being joyful is about a state of mind. That doesn't mean that we have to be happy all the time. But we can find joy in what Jesus has done for us and is doing for us, even when we feel sad. Next, we are urged to pray continually. This does not mean we go around uttering prayers all the time again and again and again and again and again, and we can't stop talking because we're praying. No, again, it's about a state of mind. For this, we need a deeper understanding of what prayer is. Because our time here is short, I cannot go into it all, but it's worth highlighting that it's about a conversation with God. It's not just about us talking to him, it's about us having the time to listen to him. Prayer is that conversation that we have with God. It's about keeping our mind ready to hear from him as we speak to him as well, but being ready all the time. The final part in this paragraph, these few verses, is that we are challenged to give thanks in all circumstances. Something else that is difficult to do. I know there are times in my life where I have not always felt like being able to say thank you. Yet this is what Paul is telling us. It doesn't mean that we have to say thank you for the bad things that happen, or have to say thank you when we feel sad, because we feel sad. It is about seeing the good things, even when things seem at their worst, and being thankful for those. There is always something we can be thankful for, however big or however small it might be. We can always find something. These three things, as I have said, it's about a state of mind, it's about a way of thinking. It's not about feelings. And to get our mind in the right place requires the help of the Holy Spirit, living and breathing in us and through us. So let us encourage one another in the power of the Spirit, so that our lives can be a blessing and an inspiration to all those around us. Those who know Jesus and those who don't yet. So again, be blessed, be encouraged, be challenged as you look even more into this chapter. Read it again and again to find out more that God can say to us through his word. But that wraps up our time for today and wraps up this series of looking at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. 1 Thessalonians. So until next time, be blessed.